We're getting to the point now where author scams are like Smash Mouth, because they just start coming and they won't stop coming.
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.
What's up, my fellow small business supporters? I'm Savvy. Welcome back to Savvy Writes Books. On this channel, we talk about the writer world, the small business owner world. We expose business scams and business gurus and multi-level marketing companies and things like that. So this channel is all about being an author and a small business owner. Today we're going to be delving into some more publishing style scams, some more scams that are trying to take advantage of newer authors. Now, when I say the word scam today, that's a little bit of the colloquial use, just as a disclaimer. I'm not accusing anyone of any crimes. Today's video is fair use. Today's video is all my opinion. This is just all my thoughts and the thoughts of other people that I talk to. So when I say that these companies are scams, I don't mean that in the legal sense. I mean that in the sense of I think people pay for things that they don't really get, and I think these companies are unethical in my personal opinion. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, because every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Central, I put out new videos. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, I host the author sleepover, where a bunch of writers and artists and whoever else, we all get together and we do some of our work. We work on things together, and we do it in the context of a sleepover party where we're all having fun and eating snacks, and it's great. Today's video was brought to you by my Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for supporting this channel and for making it what it is. Everyone, make sure you check out the description below, where my Patreon supporters, who are $5 a month and up, have their own small businesses or YouTube channels or websites or things like that linked. So you'll want to check out those people, because they're awesome small business supporters, and that is what we do here on this channel. So during the course of this video, I'm going to be collaborating with Erin Kinsella, who is a fellow author tuber. She is fantastic. I've actually talked about her in a few videos in the past when I've talked about my TBR, because she wrote this book recently called Heart and Soul, which is on my to-read list, and I can't wait to get to it after I finish some of these shitty-ass business guru books that I'm reviewing for this channel.
Heart and Soul by Erin Kinsella. Erin Kinsella is also an author tuber that I really like. Beside herself with excitement, best-selling author Tessa Hale flies to the vibrant city of Seoul, South Korea, where she's meeting the cast and crew of the film adaptation of her book. The thrill shifts to starstruck panic when she discovers the actor cast as the lead is the idol she's been high-key crushing on for years. Dude, this is so great!
She reached out to me because, you know, she's a fellow author. She's a fellow independent author like I am, where we, you know, start up our own business to produce books and that kind of thing. And back when she was first looking into the concept of self-publishing, she got involved with a company called Author Solutions. And at the time, she didn't realize, and I wouldn't have realized either based on the way this is set up, that Author Solutions owns a ton of other companies. And when she was working with other companies, she didn't realize that they all tied back to the same scammy, nasty point at the top. I'm going to be reviewing these companies a little bit, reading a little bit from their websites, and delving into what they're about. Throughout this video, I'm also going to include pieces of an interview that I did with Erin to talk to her about her personal experience and how nasty the companies have just continued to be with her, even long after she's discontinued her contract with them. Are you still getting calls from these people?
Yes.
So it's been like 7 years?
Yep.
Oh my god! Now, I want to be really clear about something when it comes to what self-publishing is and what vanity presses are and what independent publishing is. There's a lot of terms that get thrown around in the book publishing and book production world that can have different meanings, and often those meanings tend to develop and evolve over time as we see new ways of selling books on the internet. We see the ebook boom. There is a distinction between self-publishing and self-publishing services and a vanity press. I see those as two different things. Now, some might agree or disagree, but here is how I will be defining those terms and using those terms in today's video. I view self-publishing as sort of like starting up your own business. Like, for example, with Forever Home Friends, my business that produces books, plushies, and other things based on real rescue dogs and their journeys to adoption. For those books, my own business produced them. So I could say I self-published those books because I didn't work with an outside publisher. My own company was the publisher, something like that. But I wouldn't say I used a vanity press for those books, because that is a completely different thing. The idea behind self-publishing is that the author who writes the book has creative control over the process. They can choose how much to sell the book for. They basically act as the publisher. And that's not to say there are some specific self-publishing companies, which I'm also going to distinguish from vanity presses real quick. Self-publishing companies might provide something like cover design services, book formatting services, book editing services. You might pay them up front and go to this and say, hey, here's a one-stop shop where we're going to format your book, cover design your book, edit your book, whatever. They do all of that for you. You pay them a sum, and then when that is done, you as the author own 100% of the rights. You have signed none of your rights over to that company, and you still get to keep 100% of your royalties. The company does not take any cut of what you are doing beyond the point where you paid them for services. That is a reputable self-publishing company, in my opinion. A Vanity Press is a company that wants to have the best of both worlds. So if you're someone who's here from the business scammer and anti-MLM side of my audience and you're not familiar with author things, the traditional publishing model is when a publishing company buys the rights to your book and pays the author a royalty for each book sold. So the publisher takes on the upfront cost of paying for a cover artist, of formatting services, of paying for editing and things like that. The author pays nothing at any point, but the author does not get to keep 100% of their royalties because the publisher will be making money through the sale of each book and the author will get a cut of that. Vanity presses want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to take the best of both worlds and put the worst of both worlds onto the author. They want the best of everything all for themselves. A vanity press is a company that not only do you have to pay them upfront for the services, but they also take a cut of your royalty. At the end of the day, as an author, you end up making very little from each book sold and also having to pay an upfront investment to get the book out there. I have a lot of controversial views about the publishing industry. However, one view that I think I kind of agree with the majority of people on, a publisher be both taking a cut of your royalty and taking upfront costs from you for services. That is exploitative. That is taking advantage of authors. You should not be making money on both ends like that. We are going to look at a couple companies that do this, which are all under the branch of a larger company called Author Solutions. Hopefully, if you're an author and you've run into any of these companies, maybe today's video will encourage you to kind of stay away from them. We are currently on the Author Solutions website right now. The website says real authors, real impact. Thousands of authors self-publish with Author Solutions imprints every year with the goal of positively influencing the lives of others. Very vague statement. Our imprints, our supported self-publishing imprints span 5 continents and 9 countries. They also include relationships with industry leaders such as Simon & Schuster. HarperCollins Christian. Isn't HarperCollins Christian Thomas Nelson books? And isn't that who published Girl Wash Your Face? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Author Solutions is a leader in supported self-publishing through strategic alliances with leading trade publishers. Author Solutions makes it possible, blah blah blah. This says nothing. I hate the business speak. This tells me nothing. So let's go to learn more and fill out no. To learn more, I have to give you my email address. Fuck that. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at their imprints. iUniverse is one that we're gonna really focus on today.
Okay, so hi, my name is Erin. I am a fantasy and romance author. So the 2 projects that I did with the Author Solutions companies was my debut novel, Olympian Confessions, Hades and Persephone. That one was with iUniverse. And then I also did a children's picture book, Miss Willow and the Great Fish Mystery, and that was with Archway.
So I guess to start with iUniverse, how did you first find out about the company, and what I guess first drew you to it?
Okay, so this would be back in like 2014, and the big bookstore chain in Canada is Chapters and Indigo. Mm-hmm. And so when I was looking into self-publishing, I was like, well, I really want to be able to see my books on bookstore shelves. So I was just like looking around, be like, how do I get my books into Chapters? And literally on the Chapters website, they're like, if you are self-published and you want your books on our shelves, you go with this company.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before. At the time,
I was like, oh, that makes sense. But then later, I was like, what the fuck, Chapter?
Did they have like a weird deal with them or something?
I can only assume that they had something going on.
That's odd. I've never seen anything. I've seen like, if you self-publish and you want your book in our store, it has to be distributed through Ingram. Like I've seen that, like for them to place the order, but I've never seen a requirement that it has to have like been published and like ISBN owned by a certain company. That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew like nothing really at the time. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like Chapters is trustworthy. Obviously they know how to get books on their shelves. So I was like, cool, I'll look into this.
The more you study an operation like Author Solutions, the more it resembles a 2-bit internet scam except on a colossal scale. Internet scammers work on percentages. They know that only a tiny fraction of people will get hoodwinked, so they flood the world's inboxes with spammy junk. While reputable self-publishing services can rely on author referrals and word of mouth, Author Solutions is forced to take a different approach. According to the figures released by Author Solutions itself when it was looking for a buyer in 2012, it spent a whopping almost $12 million on customer acquisition in 2011 alone. They're spending all of this money to pay salespeople, to pay people to be constantly doing cold calls and upsells and that kind of thing. Why not just save that money and provide a better service? Like, it seems obvious to me, but okay. I guess they're making more money if they can scam on a large scale. This money is spent on paying bloggers, websites, and companies a bounty based on how many writers they can deliver to Author Solutions, buying a huge presence at writers' events such as the Toronto Word on the Street Festival, the Miami Book Fair International, and the LA Times Festival of Books, setting up a whole string of misleading websites which purport to offer independent self-publishing advice, but which actually only recommend Author Solutions companies. Oh, I hate that. Some complain that the prospective customers of Author Solutions should do more research. This is a little unfair for 3 reasons. Yeah, and I'm going to agree with this, because when I'm talking to Erin, like, Erin as an author, she's a very smart person. She's a really good writer. She knows what she's doing, and she got roped into this. It's kind of like when I talk to people from MLMs. When I interviewed someone a couple weeks ago when I did the self-publishing school scam alert video, and she talked about getting roped into self-publishing school. You know, she was in grad school at the time getting her master's degree. Like, she was incredibly smart. The thing is that these companies are so manipulative that even if you're the person who's like, I'm always looking out for things, I'm very aware of the world around me, I will never fall for a scam, like, don't get too comfortable. They're finding new manipulative ways to get in there. So I do not blame anyone who's gone with one of these companies. I mean, if one of these companies had approached me at the beginning of my author career, I probably would have too, because when you're still new to the industry and you don't know how things normally work and you don't know what to look out for and what red flags to look for, it's really easy for these companies to make it sound like what they're doing is completely ethical. When Author Solutions keeps launching new brands, 20 at last count, with similar prices and packages, but without the internet baggage. This makes a mockery of Author Solutions CEO Andrew Phillips' recent claim that, quote, "We are not trying to deliberately confuse anybody." Finally, it appears that most prospective customers do actually research the company thoroughly and step away. Out of the 475,000 leads, Author Solutions only converted approximately 5% into customers. Now you can see why Author Solutions needs to adopt the spamming business model. It knows that if a prospective customer starts Googling thoroughly, it's going to lose them, so it must work on a giant scale. What does that remind you guys of? MLMs, right? A multi-level marketing company where someone is cold messaging thousands of people in their inbox, right? Thousands and thousands of people. Hey girl, what's up? Hey hon. Hey, what's going on, girl? And it's the whole thing with like, oh, you don't need to research the company. Don't Google it. Just trust me. Google has so much misinformation. I'll give you the right information. These packages are widely considered to be massively overpriced compared to competing services, but where Author Solutions really makes its money is in aggressively upselling a range of additional services to authors not included in those expensive packages they first purchase. Most packages don't even include editing, and this is the first area where sales consultants try to hit their internal targets. They don't even include editing in the first package.
What was the publishing process with them actually like when you went through the process? Was it like good? Were you happy with the product? Was it expensive? What was the whole process like for you?
So it was very expensive. So when I was first looking at it, they're like, we prefer incomplete manuscripts. Like they still wanted you to like submit and everything. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, they want their editors and stuff to, be able to guide you. But the editors were not included in the package. I signed up when I did because, they did that false scarcity thing you always talk about where they're like on sale, like a whole bunch off right now. And I was like, oh God. So it's like, I'll sign up. It's fine.
What were some of the red flags you noticed when you were working with them?
So probably the biggest one for iUniverse that tipped me off and I was like, I can't anymore. They phoned me. I was at IKEA and they were like, oh my God, your book's going to be featured in like the New York Times book reviews. And I was like,
and that's a pretty exciting thing to lead with. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. And so they were like, talking it all up. And then they're like, well, we need like an investment of like it with the conversion rate. It would have been like $5,000. And I was like, I don't think you're supposed to pay to get on the book review.
Were they just gonna like purchase an ad or something?
That is what it turned out to be. It's like, we'll buy you ad space next to the book review. But because of the way they had approached it, so I emailed the New York Times and I was like, this company is saying you can like just buy a spot to be reviewed. And their legal team came back and they're like, please forward us all of the emails where they have said this, and like we'll pursue legal action. But of course, they only make those wild claims on the phone calls. And then when they send you the emails, it's like complete opposite. So I was like,
oh, so they don't leave you any paper trail. Oh man.
When I bought it, it was 3,400 Canadian.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that did not include editing.
Nope.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so the editing, then they tried to get you to use one of their editors. They were trying to basically upsell you.
Yes, on literally everything.
Were you able to refuse using their editor, or were they like really pushy about it?
Yes. Well, I did refuse it because like they can't force me to give them additional money, but then they would harass me about like, well, you have to do all this advertisement stuff. And I was like, all of your advertisement things are like $5,000.
Right. And like, what is stopping you from like doing the advertisement stuff that they're like, we'll do this advertisement thing for you for this much? Like, you could also just do that. Like, they're like, we'll buy you an ad in the New York Times for $5,000. It's like, okay, but why can't I just go buy a cheaper ad in the New York Times then? Like,
I did start looking at that for some stuff. Like, once I just started getting really annoyed with them, I'm like, I'm just going to see how much this actually costs to do.
The class action goes into voluminous detail about numerous and repeated errors that were made at every stage with the plaintiff's manuscripts, and this tallies exactly with complaints that I've received. When customers come nearer to publication, sales consultants pivot to pushing various marketing packages. This is a small but representative sample. A web-optimized press release for $1,299, $1,299, $1,300 for a press release. Guys, you can hire someone on Fiverr to write a web-optimized press release for you. If I were to write a web-optimized press release for you, let's see, if I did that at the rate of $20 an hour, and it would probably take me about an hour to do it, I would write a web-optimized press release for you for $20. I mean, don't try to hire me to do it because that's not what I want to specialize in, but like, my point is that like, people can offer you those services. Like, that is a ridiculous price. But again, if you're new to the world of press releases, if you're new to publishing, if you're new to business whatsoever, that number, someone could easily convince you that that number is normal, because in the business world, money has such a wide range of different things. Like, oh, this is a normal amount for this. I hate it. Podcast interviews for $10,669. You know how much it costs to reach out to podcast hosts over email or social media to talk to them about it? Nothing. It costs nothing. You can book your own podcast interviews. I go on people's podcasts all the time. I've never paid anyone. Ads in Reader's Digest for $143,990. That's not a typo. A book signing appearance for $4,000. Don't pay to do a book signing. You do not have to pay to do a book signing. It doesn't matter what avenue you put your book through. You can ask any store if you can do a book signing there. And they don't have to say yes, but a lot of local bookstores will say yes. Even when I was very new to the publishing journey, I was able to talk to a couple local bookstores into doing a book signing and having them take 40% of the books sold, like 40% of those profits. We made that work. It happened. It was a good time. A lot of bookstores don't mind, even if you're a relatively unknown author, if you do a signing there, it's usually not any work on their part because, I mean, unless they want to help you promote it, but helping you promote it could be good if they're getting a cut of your sales. My point is, It doesn't cost anything to do a book signing. You can just organize one yourself. It's not even that hard. If there's one thing that Author Solutions is actually competent at, it's flogging these, quote, services to its customers. Again, by its own figures, Author Solutions convinces customers to spend an average of $5,000 each on publishing and marketing their book, several multiples of what it should cost. I should break down, for books that I've self-published, I should break down my self-publishing costs. Okay, ready? This is Savvy Business Owner. Do you know how much money I spent to self-publish this book? I spent $15, and it was to buy this little rotary phone prop on the cover, because I thought that would be really cute on the cover, and I liked the color palette it created. And I guess I ordered these paperback proofs so that I could check the formatting and things like that. $7 to get this printed and shipped to me. This book has sold the best out of all of my books, and that's how much I spent. But that's because I did all the other things myself. Now, if you want to look at Forever Home Friends books, those are, I'd consider that more of a business expense. With most of my Forever Home Friends books, so like The Love of Senior Dogs and Just Me Wrigley, I illustrated those, so I paid nothing. Because I did literally everything. Again, my company puts out these books, so I've done nothing for those. Princess Allie and Smile Chewy, I did hire illustrators for, and I paid each of them about $2,250 for all of the illustrations, cover art, everything. And so I spent about $4,500 on illustrations for those, but that was for full art for two. That wasn't for this bullshit, right? This definitely doesn't include like custom illustrations. So that was for that. And also I had previously already raised that money on Kickstarter through pre-order, so I didn't have to lose any money, right? So this is like where we're going with this. For Kringle's Christmas, the artist that I worked with, we did a barter because I do editing for her. That's my basic breakdown of how much. I've learned to do a lot of these things myself. Sometimes it's good to hire someone who specializes in them, but that's my point, is a lot of people say that like to self-publish you need to have all this money to invest, and you don't. Like, you don't. The main way I advertise my books is through my YouTube channel. I tell people about them here. And does that give me, you know, thousands of sales every day? Does that give me, you know, making millions of dollars every year? Absolutely not. No. But it sells enough. Will there be times when you will want to pay for certain services because you think someone else is going to do a better job and you want a better product from that? Yes. And should you pay for it in that case? Absolutely. But you never have to pay prices like this. I just want to warn everyone, you never have to pay prices like this. I'm also going to link this article in the description, so everyone should check this out and read it in full because there's a lot of information in here. So on selfpublishing.com, oh god, this is by Self-Publishing School. You guys know. This is funny, right? Self-Publishing School. Self-Publishing School runs this website where on the blog people are calling out Author Solutions for being a scam. And Self-Publishing School is also a scam. It's like, you guys ever see like on Facebook sometimes there will be from someone who's trying to sell like Young Living essential oils, and they'll be like, please stop trying to sell me your Mary Kay makeup kits. And then it's like, but you're trying to sell people oil. This is how this is. I'm not sure that the person who wrote this is affiliated with Self-Publishing School. He might just be like a blogger who's posting on this site. I'm not saying that the information in this article is associated with Self-Publishing School. I just think it's funny. But anyway, I think the information on this page is still good. The main thing I got from this site was the prices that go with the Author Solutions packages. For example, the one that they did on Archway shows how ridiculous of these packages are. $2,000 to $14,000 for these packages, and then they've got the business packages. These are just so expensive. And then this is the color package. Is that like if you want your book to be in color, which if you're printing a children's picture book, you want your book to be in color. And I don't know if that's even for printing, because from when I talked with Erin, that didn't include getting your books like a huge print run of them done. Like if these prices included a couple hundred in a print run of hardcovers or something, I'd be cool with that. Like, I'd be fine with that. But this doesn't even include that. This is just like to get it published. This is then you have to pay printing on top of that.
How much did the printing cost for each book?
I don't remember the exact amount. I think they said it was like $10 or something, because I wasn't doing like, you know, thousands of books in a single printing, because like they change the price based on, you know, how big your lot is. You get the bulk discounts, but I think it was around $10 per copy. And then, conversion rate brought it up to like 15, and then there's
So that's just for printing. That's ridiculous, because it's like, it was a novel, like 300, 400 pages or something, and all like a black and white interior.
Yeah. Like nothing complicated.
So on the Better Business Bureau for Author Solutions, there are 198 complaints. That's even more than I saw on the labor poster compliance scam page that I was talking about on the live stream. Back in May, I purchased a self-publishing package that I have been working on, under the impression that I was going to move forward with a personal project. However, COVID-19 came along and I stumbled across a few errors within my project. I notified Author House upon making my decision to cancel everything and restart at a later time when I feel as though I'm fully prepared. I've been contacting Author House in regards to a refund since December 16th. I have not heard anything from my publisher consultant, who has failed to return my calls and emails in regards to my refund. Each day that I call, no one is able to reach her or anyone who could possibly help me. It's been several days. I'm experiencing a situation and these funds could definitely help. This matter has caused myself and other employees to have a hard time. I would appreciate if you guys could help me resolve this issue. See, like, this person was so nice the way they talked about it too, but like, we've all been there, right? Where the company nonstop wants to contact you and call you and sell you things, and then suddenly when you need something from them, silence. On December 8th, 2020, I signed an agreement to pay $2,742 to have my children's book published. The agreement stated that if I changed my mind before submitting my manuscript and within 30 days, they would keep $150 of my money and refund the rest. On December 11th, 2020, I sent an email and made a phone call stating that I needed to get out of the agreement because of other financial obligations. It has now been 11 days and no one will return my phone calls. No one has emailed me. If this goes on for 30 days, then they will get to keep more of my money. I never did even send them the manuscript. Please help me to get this money credited back. I am an author with a book available through Ex Libris. On June 8th, 2020, I contacted Ex Libris and Author Solutions by phone and purchased a social media advertising basic service for $999 with a MasterCard. I was told it could take 4 to 8 weeks to complete before launching. On July 15th, 2020, I was told the initial draft had been completed and the designers would use it to create the ad layouts. So far, so good. After several weeks and hearing nothing, I inquired by phone and was told they are still working on it. On September 9th, 2020, only after another inquiry, I received an email stating, your social media ad is now on queue for launching. A preview link will be provided to you before the campaign will start. On October 8th, 2020, still no preview link and no word from Author Solutions. At this point, it had been 5 months, so I sent a letter to the address in Bloomington, Indiana, calling attention to the fact that they did not deliver their services advertised in a timely manner after being paid in full in advance, and I was no longer interested in their service and wanted a refund. It is now December 8th, 2020, 6 months from the time I contacted verbally over the phone for their service, and I have heard nothing from them since September. Oh my god. So Author Solutions itself is the broad company, but it also has a bunch of imprints, and people are going to choose, whether it's Ex Libris or iUniverse or Archway, they're going to choose a specific imprint to publish their books through. I talked to Erin about her experiences with 2 of these imprints, both with iUniverse and with Archway, so let's talk a little bit about those.
So after your book was released, you were trying to sell it, and that's when they started harassing you on the phone with all the upsells.
Yes.
So what happened with all of that?
So a couple of them I initially agreed to because I'm really bad under pressure on phone calls, and it's like, oh god, please don't hate me.
That's why they do it on the phone, dude. Also the paper trail, but that too, yeah.
Yeah, so the one that I had originally agreed to, it was like some writing conference thing. I think it was in Vegas. And like once afterwards, I was like, I can't afford that. Like, I cannot. Like,
yeah.
And it took me a long ass time to get a refund because they would just not answer me. Like, we have like the book publishing consultant assigned to you. And I went through like probably 5 or 6 of these people because, one wouldn't be able to convince me to spend money. And they're like, oh, here's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a new one. And I'm like, okay. But the one who had convinced me to do the conference, and they're like, it's a great opportunity. We're going to set you up a booth and everything. And I mean, like, it sounds good before all the price came in. And I phoned pretty much every day because there's only like a 30-day refund window. And he would like never answer. I would phone in the morning, I would phone in the afternoon, I would phone their general customer service. I'd be like, is this person in the office today? And they're like, yep, we'll forward you away, like right away. Would not answer. And so I like days of this, and I was like marking down all the times that I had called, and if I had called directly, and if I had called the front line. And then I started escalating it because I was like, there's like a week left. I can't have like $3,000 of this first payment coming on my credit card. Like unsign me from this thing. And they eventually did, because I just would not shut up about it. But that was like every single thing. And I was like, I can't say yes to anything because like I don't trust them. And they just like phone about new stuff until I canceled my contract with them. And I was like, oh, thank God I'm free. And I was not. Because I don't know if they just sold my information to other companies or if all of these little ones are secretly under Author Solutions, because my phone number is not public. It has never been public. And they always phone me. So any of the ones, if they phone me, I'm just like, okay, you're a scam. Like,
so yeah, so you got out of your contract with iUniverse, and then all of a sudden a bunch of other publishing companies with similar business models started calling you all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, I'm not, allegedly, guys, I can't say that they sold your information. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying it kind of sounds like they did.
Uh-huh.
Kind of seems that way. So
Yep.
what happened when these other companies started calling you then?
Mostly I just ignored them. Like, they would phone me and email me. And I was like, I'm not getting back in with a company like this, because I think what a lot of the big ones kind of do is they'll like just drive you absolutely bonkers, and then you bail, and then another company in their same branch, whatever, will swoop in and be like, we're so sorry you had a terrible time with them. We'll take care of you. Or, another $5,000.
I hate it. Are you still getting calls from these people?
Yes.
So it's been like 7 years?
Yep.
Oh my God. That's horrible. Like, do you like block their number, or like, how do you what?
It's a different one every time.
Oh my God.
So, but it was kind of funny because like one of them like phoned and got mad at me, and they're like, why don't you ever answer your phone? You're making it so difficult for publishers to help you.
So here is the iUniverse website. It has Publish, About Us, Bookstore. So let's take a look at some of their packages and some of their pricing. All of this is just business speak, right? This is all just like Business Factory, like that, like on BoJack Horseman when they go to the Business Factory. This is all just Business Factory speak. This is Business Guru Magnetic Poetry over here. The iUniverse difference is our commitment to helping authors succeed. No shit. Literally, what publisher doesn't have a commitment to helping authors succeed? That's not a difference. I fucking hate this. Editorial excellence. That's hilarious considering editing is an upsell. I really hate this shit. This site is so vague. Quality, simplicity, equality, respect. How do I find your packages? Do I have to go to the website that's owned by Self-Publishing School again? Okay, so we're gonna click on packages and services right here. Before I can even get to the publishing packages, first of all, let's talk about how bad this website's user interface is. Under About Us, you would think, right? Under About Us, there would be a little drop down where you can click on packages and pricing and things like that. No, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom of the site, past the email sign up form. You gotta scroll all the way to the bottom. Normally, where like they're like privacy policy and shit is all the way down there, and only there can you find packages and services buried here. It's because they want you to give your email address to request a quote, but it's here, which is good. But then before you can even get to the prices, it's got all this shit. Publish a book on a foundation of excellence and all of this stupid business guru speak. It takes more than simply writing a manuscript to publish a quality book. It also helps to have a team of yeah, no shit. We will help you turn your manuscript into a professionally published book. Great. We guarantee one-on-one author support, a variety of book format options, like blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing, guys. If you want professionals to work on your book, hire freelancers. There are so many people out there trying to start their own small businesses, right? I'm always saying support small businesses. There are people who want to start their own graphic design business. Why not hire them to design your cover? There are people out there who want to start businesses for being editors. Hire them to edit. You don't need to pay a massive company like this that's going to overcharge you and then upsell you on every single thing. So the select package, it looks like the cheapest package is $1,000. What does this include? One-on-one support? Oh God, here we go. They break down traditional publishing and self-publishing, and they're talking about how theirs is a combination, which is supported self-publishing. No, what theirs is them taking money from you on both ends. They're saying like, we're going to take part of your royalties and charge you up front. Dude, no, this is not a best of both worlds hybrid. No. As a hardworking writer who dreams of seeing your book in print, you have the right to a positive publishing experience. Whether your goal is to publish through a traditional house, become your own publisher, or seek the help of a publishing service provider, take the time to consider your publishing options. Only then can you make an educated decision about which alternative provides the best path. Self-publishing your book with the support of iUniverse is a professional, affordable, and fast way to get your book into print. Compared to publishing on your own, you do give up control of some aspects of the publishing process. You do. You kind of, the best part of self-publishing, where you get to keep all the control and start your own branding and create your own everything. We take that part away from you. We take away all the best parts of self-publishing, but it's okay. God, kill me. Okay. But only in exchange for less hassle and expense. No, this is not less expense. I don't know anyone who spent more on self-publishing than this. Even people I know who have commissioned custom covers from professional artists and have paid for formatting and multiple rounds of editing. I don't know anyone who spent this level of money on it. This is ridiculous. While supported self-publishing may not be the right long-term solution for all authors, it is the most efficient and affordable way to get started. No, that is a fucking lie. It is not efficient. It is not affordable. There are more efficient and affordable ways to do everything than this. This is just bullshit. So let's go back to, this is, I clicked on one-on-one support, and this is what it gave me. This website, I was trying to figure out in the select package, which is $1,000, one-on-one support is included, and I wanted to figure out what that one-on-one support entailed. I clicked on it, and it took me to this page, which told me absolutely nothing about any kind of one-on-one support that you're going to be receiving. Terrible experience. Author volume discount. So that's like if you want to get the book printed to resell it, if you want to pay them as the printing service, then you have to pay as the author for that as well. And having to pay to get your books printed is normal if you're the one who's in charge of the business. But since they're taking your rights and assigning your ISBN and they own the rights to everything until you get out of the contract, you should not have to pay for printing in that case.
So I'm looking on their website and it says that they have author volume discounts. So is that like for you to buy the printed books and resell them, or how did they handle distribution and printing and all of that?
Okay, so I got a few free copies. I forget exactly how many now. I think it was like 10 free physical copies. But then they're like, well, you have to take them to the bookstores and like you can sell them yourself. And so they convinced me to buy, I got like 90 copies, and it was still like a lot of money, even with the discount, because I mean, conversion rate. And then also I still had to pay to ship them to Canada. So it's international shipping on this big ass box of books.
Oh my God. They didn't even have like a local, like, cause I know at least like if you order, like if you publish on KDP, right? And you buy them on Amazon, they'll ship them to you from whatever country you're already in. So that way you can, but they don't even do that. You have to buy them from the US.
Yes.
That sucks.
And so like, it was so expensive for me to do that it was, because everyone's always like, oh, you know, buy direct from the author, they get more money. And I'm like, do not buy direct from me. It costs me more money to buy it and ship it and give it to you than it would be for you to just buy it yourself. There was not really much information at all, like how there is now. And there's so many people sharing these experiences and, you know, how to navigate the publishing industry. But when I was trying to find stuff, like literally everything that came up when I was searching was these companies. They were like they felt way bigger back then. And like I would see, you know, commercials on TV and stuff for them. but they never ever disclose that they're all the same company.
You made a 10% royalty. And how much did your book sell for? Like, how much money was it listed as?
I think it was 21 or 22
for
the paperback. Maybe 25 and then 35 for the hardback.
Oh, that's really expensive.
Yes.
I love this cover design and personalized back cover. I'm glad you're designing both the cover and the back cover. Here I thought the cover included the full thing. What kind of company would design just a front cover?
So for the price, what they did was they designed a cover. They formatted the book, I assume?
Yes.
For paperback.
So for the cover, the art that is on the Olympian Confessions, I had that commissioned. One of my childhood friends is like a photographer, designer. And so she made me the cover art. So literally all iUniverse had to do was like the text bits on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And, it made no difference in the price. But I was like, I really want this cover. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then they just used that in like all of their stuff that they made for me.
Okay, so they didn't even really do much work on the cover.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So they did like formatting for paperback and ebook, I assume.
Yes.
Was there any like audiobook component?
No.
Okay.
Just there was hardcover too.
Okay,
But
so it's
yeah,
hardcover,
just
paperback, ebooks. There's 3 formats.
Yeah.
And then an ISBN.
Yeah.
Which like ISBNs are not expensive. So that's always a thing where it's like, okay, if the only service you're offering is an ISBN, like ISBNs, if you buy them in 10 at a time, you can get them for like $25 a piece. So like they really
They're
doesn't
free
matter.
in Canada.
Wait, ISBNs are free in Canada?
So it talks about the different packages and then what is included in each one. Editorial evaluation. That does not even mean editing. That just means editorial evaluation. Do any of these packages include editing? Do any of these include editing? This one includes a share your book widget. I don't even know what that means. None of these include editing? So you could pay almost $5,000. You could pay over $6,000. You could pay, I keep going, it keeps getting more expensive. You could pay over $7,000 and they still wouldn't include editing. My mind is blown. They're not gonna edit your book. Rein it in. So now I'm on this website called Self-Publishing Review, and this is a review of iUniverse. The cost of publishing with iUniverse isn't that much different than other subsidy services that fall under the Author Solutions umbrella. At iUniverse, the cheapest package is $600. The most expensive is $2,100. Wait, that's not even true anymore because we were just over there. This one... Ex Libris' cheapest package is very bare bones, a book cover that looks like a pre-made template, interior design template, and ISBN. Useful if you don't want to do any work and don't care what the book looks like. The better comparison is between the cheapest package at Author House and iUniverse, which are priced identically. So let's take a look real quick at Archway, which is the other company that I briefly spoke with Erin about her experience publishing with. I've also had really bad experiences with Archway, which I will probably do. I've never published with them. I've never published with any company like this, but I have edited for a client who published with Archway. So I might do like a story time. I might do it during a cooking stream or something to talk about how terrible the experience was and why I think that, in my opinion, Archway has been taking advantage of specifically elderly people, in my opinion. The partnership that makes us stronger. Simon & Schuster, a company with nearly 90 years of publishing experience, has teamed up with Author Solutions, the world leader in supported self-publishing, to create Archway Publishing. Author Solutions thinks it's the world leader in supported self-publishing, but my guess would be that's because supported self-publishing is like their lingo that they use, so of course they're going to be the leader in it. Like, I've never heard that outside of them. Alright, let's go all the way down here. Now where, again, you gotta scroll all the way to this shit at the bottom to find the cost, publishing choices. Let's go here. Oh, and this is what Erin was talking about with Chapters Indigo, which I think is one of the biggest bookstores in Canada. Archway is offering an exclusive publishing package to our Canadian authors, so this is for if you want your work in their bookstore, which I always want to support bookstores. But bookstore specifically has a deal with the Author Solutions companies That's really shady. And I know it's hard because when you're running a bookstore and that's a small business, but I feel like there has to be some level of like, I will stock each book based on its merit and how well I think it will sell. So if someone comes in with a self-published book that they're distributing through whatever, and you think the book would appeal to your audience, you would stock it on the shelf. Making an exclusive deal with the Author Solutions company, I don't know if someone paid someone for that deal or what, but I just don't like that at all. I think that's making it really hard. Like, because for example, I like to get Forever Home Friends. Well, before the pandemic, I was trying to get it in stores and things like that. And a lot of places were like, well, we only buy books distributed through Ingram. We only buy books, whatever. We only buy books from these publishers, that kind of thing. And that's really frustrating because I'm like, I wanted to start up my own small business. And also, if you're a small press, if you're a new press that's just starting out, it's almost impossible to break into this world when there are these weird barriers put in place by big companies. And that's the other thing. Self-publishing is often a way to break into this as a small business. And when a huge corporation like Author Solutions is trying to control that market and is trying to oversell and try to push this narrative that self-publishing is expensive and has to be done in this kind of way, that's really gross. So the cheapest package for printing in color is going to be $2,500. Again, that's a little more than what I paid entirely for, and that was for all of my illustrations. You would have to pay separately for your illustrations if you're not illustrating the book yourself. You would have to pay separately for the art on top of that. When that amount of money can get you a full book's worth of high quality art, including a cover, let alone something like this package. So this is a blog of someone called Dr. Judith Briles, book publishing expert, book strategist. Again, I'm going to link this in the description below. Oh, what a tangled web they weave. Publishing predators are breeding with the surge of authors now bypassing traditional publishing. Over half of books published today are by the self and indie publishers. Traditional publishers are taking notice and are now gearing up to offer their own, quote, self-publishing opportunities. Some, like Simon & Schuster, Hay House, and Penguin, have had a Vanity Press relationship for years in place via Author Solutions. Expect to see all of this push into a higher gear. After all, there is money in wannabe authors' pockets. I've had things to say about this in the past with like when traditional publishers were noticing that ebooks were selling the most, but they wanted to retain control over the print market, so they manipulated the figures to make it look like print books were selling more. I actually never did a whole video on that. I need to do a whole video on that at some point. Anyway, my point is, when big five publishing houses, including places like Simon & Schuster or Penguin Random House, when these companies want to retain control of the market, and with the advent of the internet and narrowcasting and being able to sell things online and being able to build up a presence on social media and sell your own things, with things like that, these companies are no longer retaining control of the market. So if they want to keep control, knowing that people are now enjoying the process of self-publishing and people are enjoying those abilities, they're going to try to capitalize on that as well. And it's like, no, do what you do, I'll do what I do. You don't need to try to infiltrate a game that small businesses are playing way better than you ever could. Their publishers are not really publishers, at least in the sense that they have the infrastructure to create and support a quality book and its author, that they have their internal team from editing to some semblance of book design and publishing and marketing and publicity, and that they are accountable in the critical accountability departments of actual book sales and responsibility. I attended a national conference last month whose members were speakers. Many were well-established speakers. A majority were new to the industry, gobbling up information that would hopefully turn them into a star on the platform. Having a book helps. Within the exhibit hall, several booths proclaimed that they were publishers. They would publish your book for a small fee. What they were vanity presses. Nothing more, nothing less. The predators of the print world, and they were signing up people, their next victims, left and right.
What are some red flags where you would say, do not go with this kind of company because they will take advantage of you?
Well, if they're vague in any of their wording and they don't tell you explicitly what of each of those services they're going to provide, then, just run away. For if they're having like a big, super mega sale on any of their stuff and they're like, just for a very finite time, I would be wary of that because, they're trying to get you to sign up without giving yourself time to think about it. And then if you're putting in your email to get like the info package, if they start emailing you Like, and you're getting an email every day, or they start phoning you when all you wanted was like, I just want basic info. But then they don't leave you alone when you say, please stop calling me or please stop emailing me. I just wanted this basic info. Then that's probably someone to run away from. I would maybe just have people look into who owns whatever company you want to work with. Because the information about Author Solutions owning both of the companies that I worked with was not like available knowledge at the time. There was like, I think Penguin tried to buy Author Solutions, and then like all of this stuff came out of the woodwork, and they're like, oh god, and just like push them back out to sea. But after that, like all of the stories and stuff started coming out, and their big subsidiaries or whatever, their package prices vary wildly, and it's all the exact same people under like the Author Solutions call center doing all the stuff for it. So like my package, I think I looked it up with Balboa, and it was like 12,000.
Wow, that's so expensive.
Yeah,
especially considering like they didn't do that much.
Mm-hmm.
I also appreciate that people are being willing to speak out against some of these bigger publishing houses. A lot of people I know are afraid to go on the internet and talk shit about a company like Simon & Schuster because they're like, well, if I ever do want to get a publishing contract with a big publisher, then I need to really make sure that I'm not going to shit talk Simon & Schuster. And here's the thing, guys, I've got nothing to lose because I run my own business. And I do have a contract right now with a small press. I love small presses. I love companies that are small businesses wanting to put books out into the world. And I'm doing the small press traditional publishing route where I've signed a contract with this small press. They've got my rights and they're paying me a royalty. And in exchange for that, they're covering all the costs related to cover design and editing and all. I'm doing some videos about that process right now. 90s Kids is coming out in June. Stay tuned for more information. And I love working with smaller presses.
Can you tell everyone about your YouTube channel and the books that you have out and the work that you do?
Sure. So on my YouTube channel, I do a lot of videos on world building, on the romance genre and tropes, and kind of like step-by-steps of like, you know, how to be a good beta reader and all that kind of stuff so you can work with authors and make the most out of people who are helping you on your journey. For my books, my first two are the Olympian Confessions duology, Hades and Persephone and Hera. They're Greek mythology retellings with more of like a focus on the women and, you know, recreating the villains of a lot of these stories as the protagonists. And then Heart and Soul is my debut romance. It is a contemporary romance set in Seoul, South Korea. It's full of LGBTQ+ characters. It's the start of a series, and it's super cute and super fun.
My final piece of advice for you, if you're writing a book and wanting to get it out into the world, if you want to self-publish, you should go for it. I think self-publishing is a wonderful and rewarding experience. But one of the benefits of self-publishing is getting to keep 100% of your royalties and having all of your rights to do whatever you want with the book whenever you want. If a company is going to own the rights and take a percentage of your royalties, do not pay them for services. You are going to lose out in the end, and there are much more cost-effective ways for you to get your work out there without somebody else having such a hold over you. Thank you so much to Erin Kinsella for participating in this video with me and for being open to talking about her really terrible experiences with these companies. Guys, make sure you subscribe to Erin's channel, linked in the description below. She is a fantastic author tuber, and she does some really great videos about world building and writing tips and talking about her vlogs and her own writing experiences and things like that. So you'll definitely want to check out her channel because she's fantastic. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you guys again this Sunday because at 11 a.m. Central I'm going to be live streaming my process co-writing Cancel Sean Boston with my friend RK, and we are going to be having a great time. But in the meantime, y'all, don't forget to support small businesses and have a fantastic Friday. Bye!
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.